Hello, everyone. My name is Thomas. I'm the regional sales manager for New Zealand, Southeast Asia, and India. Welcome to another one of our mini-series webinars. Today, I would like to focus on the Svalbard Express and the North Cape Express, which are part of the Norwegian Coastal Express program. However, they are a little bit different. And you probably have heard me saying before, our voyages up and down the Norwegian coast are not cruises, right? However, the Svalbard Express and North Cape Express, they are a bit different. And if you compare it, they're a little bit like a traditional cruise, but I will talk about this a little bit more uh, while I'm taking you through the slides. So this year is obviously our big year. It's our 130 years anniversary. 130 years ago, Rickard With started the Norwegian Coastal Express, connecting communities up and down the Norwegian coast. And we decided to do something really special for this anniversary and have created two new voyages, which I will explain to you now what they are. So basically, the first one is the Svalbard Express. The Svalbard Express is a return of an icon. Basically, this route was in service 1968 to 1982. And it was the only, or it was an important lifeline between the mainland Norway and Spitsbergen or Svalbard. This got discontinued in 1982. However, this year we decided to bring this route back. There's also a brand new route, which is called the North Cape Express. And this is quite a unique voyage because we sailed from Oslo. So we never sailed from Oslo before. And this is really a great voyage to visit some new communities or new ports on the southern coast of Norway as well. So it's quite a different voyage, and we are really excited about these two voyages. So let's call about the Svalbard Express. So the Svalbard Express is basically the summer voyage, June to September. And this year, I mean, June is already next month. So this is happening really, really soon. But also we have released the voyages for next year, 2024. So Svalbard Express, and you can see I really love this image. It's really rugged nature, scenery, quite amazing. And Svalbard is quite an interesting place, and I will talk about this soon. So the Svalbard Express, as I mentioned before, it's a summer voyage. There are three different voyages available. There's the full voyage, which is Bergen to Longyearbyen to Bergen. Then we have a half voyage, which is Bergen to Longyearbyen, which is basically northbound for 10 days. And then we have the southbound option, Longyearbyen to Bergen for 10 days. And this is, an amazing voyage, traveling through the season of the midnight sun and exploring an amazing part of the world. So let's talk a little bit about this voyage. It starts in Bergen, which is obviously the home of Hurtigruten. That's where Hurtigruten's Norwegian Coastal Express starts, visiting different parts, going along the Norwegian coast, also the North Cape Express. But I think probably one of the biggest highlights is, of course, visiting Longyearbyen or Svalbard as such. And Longyearbyen is quite interesting. So Longyearbyen is an old coal mine town. Currently 2,300 people living up in Longyearbyen, and it got founded in 1907. So let's focus on the 16 days full voyage. As I said, starts in Bergen, goes up the Norwegian coast, goes up to the North Cape, and then crosses over, it's probably one sea day, over to Svalbard, spending some time up in Svalbard, coming back, entering the Norwegian coast just above Tromsø, and then going down the coast and finishing up in Bergen. So let's talk about the North Cape Express. So the North Cape Express is the winter voyage, okay, September to March. Quite obviously really focusing on Norwegian winter, and of course it's end of September to the end of March is Northern Lights season up in Norway. So there are different parts. I really love these images. It really shows you know, the Norwegian winter. I've been quite fortunate. I traveled on one of our Norwegian coastal express voyages in March this year, and I have seen, the winter in Norway. I've seen a lot of snow, minus 20 degrees up above the Arctic. So it was a bit crisp, but it's a beautiful time to visit Norway. And of course, it's Northern Lights season, and you probably know about our Northern Light Promise. So if you or your clients traveling on us 11 days or longer, and you do not see the Northern Lights between the end of September and the end of March, we will give you or your clients another 6 or 7 day Norwegian Coastal Express voyage for free the following season. So keep that in mind, Northern Light Promise. Let's talk about the North Cape Express. So the North Cape Express has actually, sorry, there's a slight error here. It's actually 16 days. So it got 2 full voyages, 16 days, Bergen, North Cape to Oslo, or Oslo, North Cape to Bergen. So basically what happens here, it's quite a unique way. So for example, your voyage starts in Oslo, goes up the Norwegian coast, finishes in Bergen, and then the following voyage starts in Bergen, goes up the Norwegian coast, and then finishes in Oslo. So it always alternates, so the departures alternates between Oslo and Bergen. So if you or your clients traveling on the North Cape Express, you will definitely visit Oslo. I spent 2 days in Oslo before my trip up to Bergen and before I joined the Norwegian Coastal Express. And it's an amazing city to visit, really, really easy to get around. I felt really, really comfortable in Oslo. It's one of these special cities. But also the North Cape Express also has 4 half voyages as well. As I mentioned before, this is the first time we sail from Norway's capital city, which is Oslo. So here again, these are, let's focus on the 16 days, full voyages. So Oslo, North Cape to Bergen, Bergen, North Cape to Oslo, and as I said, they alternate. So quite an amazing trip in Norwegian winter. Also, it is quite important to differentiate these 2 voyages to our normal Norwegian Coastal Express voyages. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, these voyages, the 2 voyages, are more like a traditional cruise. So that basically means more time at port. So port time is between 6 or 7 hours, less ports. So it's not that Norwegian Coastal Express operations, which we know, when we do 34 ports in 7 days or 6 days. And also on these 2, the Svalbard Express and the North Cape Express, the locals do not travel on these 2 voyages. So as I said before, it's probably more like a traditional cruise. Let's talk about the ship. So we will be using the MS Foldfjord, and the MS Foldfjord has been part of the Norwegian Coastal Express program. She has been taken out in April for refurbishment and will re-enter service to do these 2 voyages from June onwards. Basically, she will be the flagship of these 2 voyages. And it's quite amazing, and you will see once I show you some images about the interior. She looks a bit different than our other Norwegian Coastal Express ships, but it's really, the decor is classic, timeless, and it's quite unique to our fleet, and it's a bit of sense of nostalgia in there, that you will see once you see the cabins. So speaking of the cabins, sleeping in style, which, again, if you know images or if you have been on a Norwegian Coastal Express voyage before, it looks slightly different, quite nice, darker colors, but still that nice Scandi look and feel. And we basically offer polar insides, polar outsides, Arctic Superior, and of course the suites. Norway's Coastal Kitchen. If you're familiar with Norway's Coastal Kitchen, that's obviously our concept on our ships, where we source 80% of our food and drinks on board from the Norwegian coast, working with 50 local suppliers up and down the coast, which is amazing. It's seasonalities, and you never know what you will get for dinner, and it's just quite amazing. And when I traveled up the Norwegian coast, it was quite amazing to sample or taste food from the regions, which quite a unique way. Also, what I like to point out on these two voyages, the Svalbard Express and the North Cape Express, drinks are included with lunch and dinner. Okay, so that is quite unique, and again comes a little bit back to that. I'm using the term more traditional cruise, so that is already included. Drinks with lunch and dinner. We started, brand new restaurant concepts as well. We got Flora, we got Iron the Brasserie, Ross, the Arctic Fine Dining, and the 66 degrees North Bar. So quite a bit different. And as you can see, the images, it looks slightly different than the Norwegian Coastal Express. And, it's really these nice warm colors as well. And of course, on a Norwegian Coastal Express, we still have our, on our Norwegian Coastal Express, we have the Coastal Experience team, which is a great team, to show you different things of Norway, point out different points of interest, they call it, but also helping you, once you're in port, because this time, you will spend or your clients will spend up to 6 to 7 hours in each port. So plenty of time to explore. Shore excursions are available. Quite a bit different than what we offer on our Norwegian Coastal Express voyages, but this team is just amazing, so much knowledge, which is fantastic. And, they really make sure you have a great, brilliant experience, doing lectures, photography classes are really, really amazing, especially when it comes to Northern Lights season, which is great. I was fortunate when I went up the Norwegian coast, I saw the Northern Lights 3 nights in a row. And believe it or not, the best equipment or the best camera to take photos of the Northern Lights is the iPhone. So I had an iPhone 13, that was just amazing. I just pressed the button and it did its own thing with lighting and everything, and the images were just fantastic. So quite an amazing experience. Let's talk about onboard activities. So that's a bit different. I talked about the lectures, quite making sure, you or your clients learn a lot about the Viking history, the fjords, the landscape, the wildlife. So quite good. When I went up the coast, I went to the lectures and learned a lot about, Norway and the Norwegians, but obviously about the communities as well, but also a lot about the history. What also is happening, even in gatherings, fun and interesting, photo recaps and things like that, photo guidance. I talked about the lectures, handcraft and art classes. We got a library on board, fitness gym and wellness facilities, including the hot tubs and the cinema. So we do movie nights as well. So quite still not the entertainment which you or your clients might be used from a traditional cruise. However, we're always trying not to fall into that segment. So, but we offering some onboard activities on these voyages. And of course, it's a sense of nostalgia. This year is just amazing for us, 130 years, and these two voyages will really, support the celebration which we're having, but also really going back into time, because even in the restaurants, some of the food which will be served it will be quite historical, because what happens is these restaurants have been found in the archives, Hurtigruten archives, and have just been revamped. It's just, but different things. It's the interior, the food. So these two voyages. If you or your clients looking for something a little bit different, still want to travel up and down the Norwegian coast, but in a more slower pace, these two voyages are perfect. And as I said, starting this year, June next month, but also the 2024 and 2025 season have already been released. So thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions in regards to these two voyages, please reach out to your regional sales managers. Information can be also found in the agent portal on our website, or you give our reservation team a call. So thank you and have a good day.